I think it's like really amazing that you're so receptive.
Just cut through emotion like a hot knife through butter.
You're not wrong.
Even if you do lie, you don't lie very well.
We're talking about this.
Yeah, we're talking about this.
If this keeps up, I can see myself cheating on you in 6 years.
Chin wagoning and a shindig? What are you talking about?
I don't know how to process all this so fast.
Again, my list, so take that. Yeah. Hey there, everybody, welcome back. My name's T.
And I'm Kay.
And we are T&Kay, the Spectrum Way. So we got a fun one for you today.
Wait, I gotta say. And this is the bird.
Wow. Okay. So we got a fun one for you today. So this is top 10 reasons to date an autistic person. And we might blow over 10. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. Baby, you got more than 10.
Yeah, we'll see. So we're gonna hop right into it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So
I'm excited.
I've been dating you for a little over 2 years now. Right? We'll be getting
we've been
married
together for 3 years.
Yeah, we'll be 3 years and
February
3 days
1st.
married, or sorry, in a relationship before getting married, which is very exciting. So we've had quite a bit of experience. So
wait, I don't even know what you just said there.
This is going to be good.
That was crazy. We started dating February 1st, 2021. And so it will be 3 years.
In 3 days.
February 1st. Stop that.
3 years and 3 days?
February 1st, 2024, it'll be 3 years.
And 3 days.
Stop it. No, not in 3 days. Now, with marriage, it'll be 3 years and 3 days.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about marriage. I was just talking about how long I've known you and how long it would be in 3 years.
Okay, so let's get right into this anyways. Let's break this in. So number one.
One thing to date me. Don't be annoying.
Number one. So you never have to guess what they're thinking. Ever. And this is like something that I immensely appreciate, because one of the things that is so difficult is that, especially with neurotypical communication, is that you always have to like read between the lines with like what feels like everything. And because, when like you are autistic, again, not trying to speak for autistic people, but more so specifically for my relationship.
I just want to say, like, just for anyone listening to this, he is speaking from his perspective. This is his thing. This is his ideas. And he's basically speaking, as like a person that has viewed an autistic person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's my personal experiences specifically with you.
Yes.
But
so we're not saying all autistic people are like this. This is just what he would like to promote. Dating an autistic person. So like I think specifically like with you anyways, with how you usually deal with communication, you communicate very directly because it's easy to understand. Yeah. And it's what you do naturally. So having somebody that just naturally says what comes to their mind is, very refreshing, because again, you never have to guess what they're thinking, what they're feeling, anything like that, right? It's just, I'm feeling this way, or sometimes it's blunt and it can be like rude, like, oh, like you stink, or whatever, but at least it's direct. Like you never have to wonder. So I guess it's a double-edged sword, but it's definitely more of, I would say, a net positive. Like the amount of stress that it saves me from having to sit there and figure out and read read what's on somebody's mind is just awesome. It's awesome. Nothing ever will come out of my mouth like, oh, I'm upset, and you're like, why are you upset? And I'm like, you know what you did.
Yeah, that never happens. That's never happened.
I couldn't do that because I'd be like, you did this. I would just like keep going.
Yeah. Number two. Okay, so this one is interesting. I find that being with you, I've developed a very unique perspective, and it's a perspective that is able to just cut through emotion like a hot knife through butter and just look at facts. And again, this is a really interesting one because, I tend to, look at situations, and I used to, especially like earlier in our relationship,
I used to really think about what other people thought and felt, and I never used to really prioritize myself and how I was thinking or feeling. So when I met you and when I started to have interactions with you, I noticed that you would help me think about things or look at things in a different perspective that took the emotion out of the situation and really just made me see what was in front of me in like more of like a bare bones style. And it's really, I think, excellent to have that kind of perspective available, because it can be really difficult to like just look at something without emotion sometimes. And with you, I know that if I ask your perspective on something, I am going to get a very, again, it is a blunt response, but it will look at not necessarily how people think or feel, but about what has happened in the situation and the best way to go about dealing with it in the situation. Is great for like problem solving, for sure.
That is true. And like to add to that, I would say like one thing to add to that is like I take my emotions out of it as well. So like I'm able to remove emotions from a situation and just look at it very factually and be like, is this fair? Is this okay? Like, and it doesn't matter who's on the other end. Dad Bubs wants to come over. Anyway, it doesn't matter like what's on the other end or who's on the other end. It's like, it's more just like about looking straight at the facts and cutting the bullshit and like, seeing through like gaslighting and all of that stuff. I feel like is super important, not to be manipulated.
Excellent. Yeah, number 3. So we're gonna keep this ball rolling. Number 3. So I find that you are always genuine and honest, and we've had discussions about this, and you struggle a lot with lying, and anything that goes against what you feel is right is very difficult. Now, that's not saying that you can't lie. Like you are, you are able to lie.
I am.
But the difficult part is that like even if you do lie, you don't lie very well. And it's just not like your natural go-to. You always, you definitely prefer always being genuine and honest. I would say more so than anybody else I've ever been with. And I think that's a really good net positive, right? Like you're always going to have somebody that is going to be looking at that.
Well, I think genuine and honest comes with being blunt. I don't think you're blunt to not be honest. Right?
Yes. Well, usually it's difficult to be blunt but not honest. So yeah,
well,
I can
how would that
understand
even work? Like, yeah, I don't even know how that would work.
Yeah, it would be challenging.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty important. But again, it kind of ties in, but it's definitely a good one. Always genuine and honest. Number 4. We've got
number 4.
Yeah, loyalty. Yeah. Loyalty and committed. So yeah.
You're not wrong. I am very loyal.
Very loyal, very committed. And to the point where you specific, and it was so funny because it goes back to even when we initially started dating, and I think back to how we initially met on Tinder and how you would only talk to one single person at a time, and that was it. And I was like, oh, like what's going on? And you would basically just drop everybody else and be like, sorry, I'm talking to this other person right now.
Oh my
and it's
God.
like,
you're outing me. I was like,
yeah,
right.
well, it's funny because like people that like people don't normally do that. Normally they'll talk to 3 or 4 people or however many people they go, they're talking to at once, but it's never just one person. That's it. Like that's who I'm committed to. And it was like that since day one. And definitely I would say like loyal to an absolute T. And again, it's interesting because I have never ever had to, worry about you in any kind of social situation when it comes to, you looking around at like, other men or, things like that. Like I always know that you are committed, and if you're not feeling that way for whatever reason, you'll also be direct about that. It was so funny. I went through a small phase where like I wasn't complimenting you and giving you lots of like God. Praise and affection.
We're talking about this.
Yeah, we're talking about this. And it was so funny because you went out to a video. What was it you went out to, honey?
It was like just this like get together for like a bunch of like actors and stuff. And I'm not an actor, but I was looking for actors for my company, and so we were at this little chin wagon.
Yeah.
And is that right?
I don't know what chin wagon is.
A shindig.
A shindig?
And we were chin wagoning.
What, chin wagoning at a shindig? What are you talking about? What is this? That's your country coming out.
I'm sorry. Anyway, where was I?
You were talking about your shindig and your wagon or whatever.
The wagon. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, I found myself like feeling a little bit like insecure almost, and this is kind of, I'm surprised you're bringing this up because it's a little bit embarrassing, but I found myself like feeling insecure in our relationship just because like I never really felt like he complimented me or like, you know, like went out of his way to like desire me or anything, and I was just like feeling a little bit I didn't really realize how I was feeling, honestly. Mm-hmm. Until I went out, and I actually like was just talking to some guys, and I hid my engagement ring, and like I was holding my drink, but I was holding it like this, and I was kind of like just so that I could get a little bit of attention, and I felt so guilty. And I came home and I told him.
Yeah, you told me, and it was like, I felt like this when I went out to this, you know, video, whatever thing that you went out to, and it was because I was feeling like this. And again, you could take it, like, it's blunt, like, it could be taken as hurtful if under the wrong context.
What was the thing I said? Baby, I said, remember what I said? I was like, yeah, if this keeps up, I can see myself cheating on you in 6 years. I'm like, after 6 years of being ignored, I can see myself cheating on you.
But, like, you never have to wonder. It's right there. But definitely, like, when it comes to, like, your loyalty, like, and your commitment, it's like you are so blunt and direct with how you feel about it that, like, you would never even like dream about stepping out of line, except for, you know, getting a compliment and then basically coming back and crying. And
it like literally affected me so deeply that like I even the fact that I hid my engagement ring, and I'm like, we're not even married yet. I'm like, there's a problem. So like we've been like actively working on it. But it like you wouldn't be able to work on those problems had you had a partner that was not blunt and direct and told you like, hey, like I'm feeling this way.
Yeah, they'd probably not say anything and then stew on it for the next, you know, X amount of months, and like it's so nice to just be able to like nip things like that in the butt when they come up, instead of having to you know, find out 5 months later that, you know, your partner's no longer interested in you because you weren't complimenting them enough, and you know, like it's so easy to fix problems, I think.
It is.
Next one, I think number 5.
Oh, and I will say, like, I'm sorry, I know this is, like, about me right now, but I just wanted to, like, let you know that I think it's, like, really amazing that you are so receptive to, like, me.
Yeah. Next one, moving on, we're going to keep this going. Number 5, stability and predictability. Oh. So, again, I think this one is really interesting because when it comes to like your predictability, you always have, of course, we talked about this before in our other ones. We've talked about routines.
Look at it. It's literally an ear hair.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
So we've talked about routines. We've talked about, you know, the how you like to have things structured. So always, you know, you're very predictable. Like I know exactly where you're going to be pretty much at any point in the day, and like what you will be doing to a degree.
Hang on, 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock, you're probably still on the couch.
Okay, 5 o'clock.
You'll be on TikTok and you'll be wondering where dinner is.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, probably.
Baby, 5 o'clock is not dinner time. 11:30 is dinner time.
Well, yeah. Well, your snack, your late night, your afternoon snack. But like you are very predictable. Like.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. I would say.
1 a.m.
The thing that you deviate on is like what you do while you're hyper focusing on whatever you're hyper focusing on at the time.
That's true. How can you say I'm predictable?
I would say, hold up. No, I think you are.
All right.
I think I also think that like you are very stable. Like when it comes to, and I don't mean that just in terms. I mean that like emotional stability. I never see you have, extreme. I would say. You're never like massively like depressive or anything like that. I find that you're very level, except for when you obviously are experimenting around with different ADHD meds, which is a different story.
I'm not the levelest person.
No, I would say you are. I'd say you are actually quite level. Again, my list, so take that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think you are very, very, have very good stability and predictability.
That's not what the psychologist said. The psychologist definitely said I range from emotions. But they also said that could be controlled with ADHD meds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now moving on, next one.
Sorry.
Never a dull day. So I definitely noticed that, like, although for example, like I know that even though you never leave the house, like I know you almost never go out, and if you ever go out, it's for like one thing and then back. But like the things that you will get up to in the house, just like when I leave you alone for your spare time, is really funny too.
Like what?
Like I came home one day and you ordered a blueberry suit off of Amazon is the best way to describe it.
Okay, it's not what he's talking about is a sensory sack.
So it's a sensory sack. It's basically a blueberry suit. So you look like a massive blueberry when you're in it, and it's supposed to help you, and you look hilarious when you walk around in it. Like, if you imagine, like, Willy Wonka and, like, the little kid at the end that pops up in a blueberry, that's kind of what it is.
Wait, is it Bianca? I think her name's Bianca.
Okay.
No, Veruca.
The blueberry kid.
Veruca.
Everyone knows the blueberry kid.
Or maybe it's the bubblegum one. I think her name's Veruca.
Yeah, so you'll do that, or...
Maybe it's not, I don't know.
Or you'll be in and like you'll be doing something funny, like sometimes you'll stream and you'll be doing something funny. That happens sometimes when I come in.
Maybe it's Violet.
Yeah, sometimes you've got it really depends on the day. Like there were so many things where so many weird things happen. Like I'll come in and you'll be like lying down randomly and you'll be just like looking at something on the wall.
It's
and
not
I'll be
Veronica.
Like, are you still on this?
Yes.
Okay, enough. We're moving on. We are like well past this subject. We are well past this. We are moving on. Okay? We have an agenda that we have to do.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I remember like I came in and this is when we first started dating, and I got into the house and you decided that you were going to order from the store because you didn't want to go to the store and get it. You decided to order on Amazon a bunch of like floor tiles that you decided that were going to go on the walls in your bathroom. Now these are like stick-on floor tiles, but turned into a backsplash over top of your bathroom. And it was hilarious because like I come in and you're just sitting there with this big stack and like this pair of scissors and you're cutting these floor tiles.
First it wasn't the bathroom, by the way. It was the kitchen.
Well, we did that was the other day. I'm talking about another day.
Oh.
This is another day. Yeah, I know we did that one too. But you're sitting there with like scissors trying to like cut these floor tiles so that you can peel and stick them on your backsplash. And I'm like, there is so much wrong with this. Like, you think these tiles are gonna stick? No. But then we were like, it was your old landlord, so we might as well just like slap some like PL premium on the back and slap it on and pray. And we did. But
all that mattered was that my bath sanctuary looked pretty.
But it's never a dull day. It's always hilarious. So like, even though you don't go out a lot, like you are predictable with like where you're going to be, the things you get up to, they're crazy.
But I would also just like to add, okay, that my landlord sold his place and they didn't even know that there was a leak in the bathroom area because of the tiles. They thought they were real. So obviously we did a good job.
Stick-on tiles, man. You know, anybody needs stick-on tiles, let us know.
Comment if you want to see a picture.
Yeah, we'll send you the link for the scissors that we use so we can get a kickback from Amazon.
Oh my God.
All right. Next one. So you're definitely, I would say, a giver in a relationship. And we kind of talked about this one a lot. And, you know, especially when it comes to gifts, you are a very big giver. And when we talked about this, when you show love and you express love, because you sometimes have a hard time putting those feelings into words, you actually express it with gifts a lot of the time. So, you know, what we noticed
I do love to spoil people.
Yeah, is that you would express that like very often through, you know, what you would buy me. And
you hate that.
I'm not a gift person, so like it's not my love language in particular, but we looked at it and it was like, you know, like, why do you like go crazy when it comes to like my birthday and all this? And it's like, we actually boiled it down to like, it's really difficult to like talk about feelings and talk about expressing yourself. And we found that that's probably due to a little bit of the autism, because autistic people can definitely find it hard to express themselves from the again, the experiences that I've had. So definitely you're a giver when it comes to relationships, and that's with gifts, that's just with attention. You tend to have like an intense focus. Like they talk about, like with autistic people, sometimes they make their partner their special interest, and you see that quite a lot like sometimes too.
Favorite person it can be.
Okay, it could be like a favorite person, yeah, for sure.
You're definitely my favorite person.
All right. So we definitely we noticed that you are a giver more than anything else, definitely more than a taker, and that is apparent through multiple assets.
That's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. Next one.
And moving on.
Yeah, we gotta go, right? Strong sense of justice.
I don't know how to process all this so fast.
We're going quick.
Okay.
Strong sense of justice. So I think one of the things that really upsets you the most is when somebody attacks like your character, because you are so authentic all the time, and because you are so blunt. Like, you look at it like being blunt, so nobody can misconstrue what you say.
Yes.
And so when somebody, doesn't, or misconstrues what that means, and, attacks your character, or, calls you something that you don't believe is true, it's very difficult for you to let go. You have like a strong moral compass. And like, especially in sense of justice when it comes to like doing the right thing, and not just for yourself, but for like other people, if you see like acts of injustice elsewhere too.
I agree with that. I mean, I think there's lots of like examples of that on our TikTok. If you guys have our TikTok, if people like comment anything rude about someone else or something, like I'm always like the first person to like lose it on them and have like a 10-minute long speech calling the person out. But I will also say, when it comes to strong sense of justice, I feel like it actually has two sides, because I will say that there's a part of me, well, a big part of me, that really doesn't care at all what people say or what people call me. Like it like rolls off me. But if it's someone that I know, or someone that I know that loves them, or anything like that, absolutely, I'm going to absolutely, like, go to the ends of the earth to prove my innocence.
Yeah.
100%.
And to follow that on, the next one is a strong sense of accountability. Which kind of follows it on.
Which is hilarious, because that's literally what I just said.
Like, sometimes, like, we find that, like, you are wrong about things.
Yes.
And
I mean, it happens lots.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely does. And, like, you always take the initiative, if that ever happens, to go and correct it without, without your ego getting in the way, without anything. Because the most important thing for you, if you're wrong, is making it right.
I will also, like, add to that and say, though, if, for example, someone says, like, oh, I felt like you did this, I'd be like, well, I'm sorry you felt that way, but I will not take accountability if that was not what I did. Mm-hmm. If, like, the impact was not exactly what was said and it was, like, perceived that way, I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, so there is, like, a line.
I think when it comes to taking accountability, like, you have to be put in a situation where you find that your train of thought wasn't the correct way of thinking.
Yeah.
And if someone can basically prove that wrong, logic it out, and prove it opposite to what you initially thought,
1,000,000%,
then you will instantly apologize, do whatever you need to do. So you definitely take accountability instantaneously. Seen it lots of times. Doesn't hold grudges, I think, is another one for you.
That's very true as well.
If someone, like, hurts you or does something that, makes you not feel good, I know a lot of people have a very hard time letting go of especially, like, grudges or, people that hurt them or, hurt their family. Like, you don't really have that. And I think that's a very good quality to have, because obviously grudges eat away at people as you get older and as you don't deal with those kind of traumas and those issues.
I will say, to add to that though, I definitely, like, for example, like, if I'm like, oh, why did you do that? Or, like, why did you hurt me? As an example, if someone hurts me and they go, oh, I didn't intend to hurt you. But, like, it doesn't matter to me if they intended to or not. It's all about the impact. So, if someone comes to me and goes, like, yeah, I hurt you, and, like, I actually deliberately meant to hurt you, a lot of neurotypicals will actually look at that and be like, wow, I'm never talking to you again. Like, you are a piece of shit. Like, how dare you mean to hurt me? But actually, I find it better. Like, when someone is honest, even if it's not something I want to hear, even if someone's like, yeah, like, I meant to hurt you when I said this, I'll be like, that makes sense. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Thank you for telling me that you meant to hurt me. Now I don't have to think about it on repeat in my head. I can just move on, and we can move on, and we can have a relationship together. So, yeah, I think that's, like, a super important one.
Mm-hmm. And then I think the last thing is I find, and again, this might just be a you thing, but I find you're always happy. And, I think because you are so, involved, and I know that this is definitely not the same for, a lot of, like, the other autistic community that masks, and they have a really hard time making friends and doing all these, and I have a lot of empathy for anybody that's in that position. But I think for you, just in general, like, you're very happy, and I've had a lot of other people that I've worked with just through my own experiences in life that I have autism, and they're also very happy people, and I just kind of wanted to validate that too. So
that's really cool. And I would like to just, like, quickly say that someone that is autistic and masking and, like, knows they're masking just to, like, be more normal, I just want to, like, point out or say that, like, you will be such a happier person and such a more authentic person if you figure out your masking and stop. Mm-hmm. And the people that don't stick around are not the people for you. So,
but that's pretty much it to wrap up the podcast today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you got something out of it, and we really appreciate our community and you guys supporting us. So thank you very much. Please like, comment, subscribe, and
T&Kay out.